Well, we're back from the gym again, and you know what that means? It's time for baking on Saturday. Today we're doing something very, very special. We are baking the secret silly cookies on Saturday. That's the triple S, not to be confused with anything else except for the secret silly Saturday bake-off. We could call it a shake-off, maybe we'd have another S in there, but it's not going to work. So anyway, these cookies go back a long, long way, and I kind of came up with this recipe by researching some stuff online on how to bake treats for your dog. And I have tweaked this recipe for 10 years. And it's a secret recipe. I've never given it out. People have asked for this recipe for years, and I've never given the doggone thing out, ever. Nobody knows this recipe. Janet knows the recipe. Okay? Janet knows the recipe. Nobody else knows the recipe. It's one of those things like if I tell you, I'll have to kill you. But because this recipe now will go out to my members, I don't have to kill you. I'm going to give it to you. So the recipe will only be available to members. So if you want the recipe to this delicious, magnificent feast of a treat for your dog that's all natural, you're going to have to join my member section. But stay along, you'll see, you'll have a fun time. We're going to have a great time baking today because that's what I do best, right? I'm not a great cook, although we'll be doing some cooking soon on the channel. This is about baking your buns off. It's a little warm here today in California and in Malibu, but we're going to have some fun. So first thing we're going to need here are dogs. And we're going to make sure we have everything tidied up here. There's a little bit of residual stuff in here. We're not going to talk about that. But this recipe calls for some technical things. I'm not going to tell you exactly what everything is, but we're going to start with some fresh, either filtered or spring water. That's the secret here, which I will disclose fully here, is the water, you want to kind of heat it up a little bit. And that's one of those things that only, you know, people like myself or Ina Garten would know. Janet and I watch Ina Garten, and we make, she cooks for her husband, and cooks for her husband, and she's amazing. I mean, I've got like my own Ina Garten in Janet, because she loves to cook for me. So, I don't know where I'm going with that, but I just like, I mean, I like eating, so I like baking. I love cooking, but I'm not a good cook. But I will be cooking some stuff for the dogs. This is all about the dogs. In other words, this show has nothing to do with human consumption of anything. It only has to do with making the world a better place for dogs. So this is an activity that I do with my dogs. I bake with them, and they enjoy it. They have such a great time that I want to show you what they look like right now. Right now the dogs are just watching me. You get a little view of the beach pad here. And all the dogs just having a great time watching their dog. Because every activity is an activity you can do with your dog, right? Now, what we want to do is, this is the secret to baking. You're talking to me like I'm a real baker, which is really funny because I'm a dog trainer. You want 2 bowls, right? And 2 bowls are better than 1 bowl. And this one's kind of hot because I've had it on the stove. And one will house your wet ingredients, let's say here, and one will house your dry ingredients, which we'll say here. And you don't mix them until that magical moment. So we're going to use this, actually I'm going to flip it around. This is going to be for my wet ingredients. Dwayne Amator's licking my calf under the table, which is kind of... all right, so here we go. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put water, because that's liquid, right? Water is a liquid ingredient. We put a little bit of water. I'm not telling you how much because that's the secret that you're going to have to join the membership section for. But it's right around that much. We put that in there. And then we put a little bit of honey. Now, I'm not going to tell you exactly how much, but I'm going to get a little, we're going to need more spoons. We're just going to use, you know, not everything is an exact science. You know, I'm really anal about stuff, and I like things a certain way. And I'm looking at my cheat sheet after I've been making this for about 10 years. You'd think I'd know the ingredients by heart. And I almost do, but not quite. Use a really good quality honey. I like organic honeys. And you know, the bees, we're depleting the bees in the world, right? Bees are super important. So a lot of vegans will tell you don't eat honey. I am here to tell you, eat a lot of honey because it keeps bees employed. In fact, recently, under this administration, bee unemployment has dropped significantly. Bee unemployment is at its lowest point in history. And I want to keep encouraging that. So I'm going to ask you to please eat honey and keep bees employed. Because the minute bees are unemployed, they turn into maniacs. I mean, they don't live in the inner city, obviously. They live like in the inner farms. And the crime rates, bee attacks, are obscene, like through the roof when bees are unemployed, because they just don't know what to do with themselves. You have unemployed bee youth, youth, we can call it, and Janet's just shaking her head. But keeping bees gainfully employed and with meaningful jobs, not just working at Denny's, working outside of Denny's or flowers outside. Although I like Denny's, keeping them meaningfully employed is really important to me. So honey is a staple. Just got back from the gym. A staple of this ingredient. Okay, and then what you're going to want in here as well is coconut oil. I buy coconut oil in mass quantities because I use it every single day. I use it on my oatmeal. Someday I will give you the oatmeal recipe too. And coconut oil is good for so many things that you wouldn't even think, right? I mean, I can't even begin to tell you, but I'm going to, what coconut oil is good for, right? Now, this is where it gets confusing because it just gets messy. And nobody's watching you do this except for thousands of people, tens of thousands of people watching this video. So nobody knows. So I'm going to put a little coconut oil in here. Let me check my cheat sheet. Oh, it's not very much, right? So I have to kind of figure this out. Now here's something really amazing with coconut oil. Coconut oil above 75 degrees is a liquid, right? I actually made a mistake. I said it was a solid, and Janet, being the brilliant, beautiful partner she is, corrected me. I stand corrected. But below 75 degrees, it turns into a solid. So it's kind of like a miracle. Like, just no idea why it does that, but it does. And we mix all this, see these ingredients together here. And coconut oil is very, very good for you. I'm going to show you a little secret. Take a little dab of coconut oil, eat a little bit off, put it in your hand, and I will tell you, ladies as well, and you're taking this advice from a very, very straight guy who's not metrosexual at all, but it's just wonderful on your hands. And gentlemen, I'm going to tell you something. Some of you guys have these callousy, ugly, dry, brittle hands, and I get it. You work for a living. You might be digging ditches all day. But when your woman wants you to hold her hand or to caress her face or to cradle her bosom or I don't know, whatever. But you're going to be doing these things. You don't want these sandpapery hands, and women don't dig that. Women like guys, and some women like women, but women, and some guys like women, and some guys like guys. Look, people. Let's just talk about people. People, humans, right? And if that's not, I hope that's not speciesist. Dogs, right? Every being likes a nice, soft hand to caress them. And you put it on your skin, you put it on your, you can put it on every part of your body. Feet, right? I'm skipping the areas in the middle because this is a G-rated show. But coconut oil can go on literally every part of your body. We'll leave it at that. We're going to keep this a G-rated cooking show. There's my coconut oil. Now everything is kind of brewing in this little bowl, or big bowl. Then we'll add our next, let's see what else we got in here. Hang on. Almond butter. Now the secret to almond butter is to get, I wish I could show you behind the camera right now. Janet, my beautiful Janet, is running the camera. And Goofy, my beautiful Goofy, is like between her legs, flirting. While I'm here working, I can't do anything about it. So get a really good quality almond butter. I like organic. This recipe originally started out being made with peanut butter, right? I don't like peanut butter, no offense to Jimmy Carter. Right? Jimmy Carter was a big peanut farmer, or any peanut farmer. In fact, if you're a peanut farmer in this country and you're doing great things, I support you. So, and I do eat peanuts. And Janet loves peanuts, actually. I make this with almond butter. So this supports all our almond farmers. Say that quick. Our almond farmers, our almond farmers, our almond farmers, our almond farmers. So I put a little bit, I'm not telling you how much, right? You gotta join the member section to get all the special details here. This stuff's all over my hands. And I wonder, like, you ever eat out and wonder what happens to your food in the kitchen? It's like this stuff, like me with this stuff all over my hands and then mixing in a bowl. But I'm clean. I took a shower. I mean, I didn't take a shower after the gym. I took a shower before the gym. I took a shower last night. I haven't taken a shower since last night. I'm a little sweaty from the gym, but I washed my hands. I brushed my teeth. Not that that has anything to do with it. I'm not putting my teeth on this stuff, except when I do that. And my teeth get on there. Okay, so now we've got all our wet ingredients, or what I like to call my concoction, in this bowl. And I just start to gently mix it together. Okay, yeah, that's going to be good. There we go, kind of mixed together. I'll tell you what, I know this is a dog training channel, but I'll tell you, dogs love hanging out with you, right? So you're always thinking, oh my God, I got to go train my dog or walk my dog or you know, groom my dog or whatever you're thinking. But our dogs right now are having the greatest time of their life. They're watching their dad baking. Who wouldn't love to see that? And you know, everything you do with your dog is something really, really special to them because they're just such amazing creatures. They're, you know, the old saying, if you locked your girlfriend or boyfriend in the trunk of a car with a dog and you came back an hour later, who'd be wagging their tail? And it would be your dog. And again, it's not a sexist joke because like I said, you know, if you locked your husband or your dog in the trunk of a car, when you came back, who'd be wagging their tail? It would be the dog because your husband doesn't have a tail. But if I said, if you locked your wife and your dog in the trunk of a car and you came back, who'd be wagging their tail? People would be up in arms. Oh, he's a sexist, he's a misogynist, and stuff like that. And it's BS. So I'll tell you the joke this way. If you lock your husband and your dog in the back of a car and you come back an hour later, who's wagging their tail? Your dog. Okay, let's start with our dry ingredients. It's a little segue. And the most important dry ingredient is going to be our flour. Okay, so there goes our almond flour. Oh, sorry, I said almond flour. This is, by the way, the second time I shot this video because the first time we shot it, the audio was terrible and it was backlit. So we're here in our place at the beach, right? We have a place in the city and a place at the beach, and this is whole grain almond flour. I said it again, almond flour. What the hell am I talking about? Oat flour. It's oat flour. I put oat flour in it, and then I get oat bran. And I'm going to tell you how much I'm going to put in here, but I'm going to just do it like that. Right? And you're going to see I end up, this is the way Ina Garten would do it too. She just kind of like has at it, right? And then we get a little rolled oats. That's my cheat sheet here. Now if you play slow motion, you might even be able to see how much I'm doing here, but whoopsie daisies, I do it really quick, right? You're going to miss it. And just remember, when you join my member section, you actually support the hard work of what I do, whether it's for training dogs or rescuing shelter dogs or anything like that. I like to once in a while just reach in and feel the texture. It's like kind of like gardening. You want to feel the earth beneath your toes. And if this was wine, I would be doing it with my toes, but I'm not. I'm half Portuguese, by the way. Portuguese make very good wine. Oatmeal, oat bran, oat flour, not almond. And one of my secret ingredients in there is a little shredded coconut, right? You're not going to put that much in, but I'll tell you in the member section about how much you put. It's about like that much, right? And then you put a little pinch in there, a little extra pinch. And a pinch is actually a measurement. Google that. It's not just like a pinch. There's like a little measuring spoon that's actually a pinch. And I don't know how that ever came about. I don't even know if it matters. But anyway, so now you have these ingredients in here. These are the dry ingredients. And we're going to put them in our KitchenAid here. Yeah, like that. And then we had, and believe me, this is a KitchenAid I had before Janet and I started dating, believe it or not. That's incredible that I would actually have a KitchenAid. So, and now we will fold the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients. So watch. Now just be aware that before you undertake any huge endeavor, that you're prepared for it. And sometimes a little shot of whipped cream will help you. Now, this will get very noisy, but I'm going to show you here. I'm going to crank this puppy up. A lot of guys are into cars. I'm into cars too, by the way. But yeah, baking's cool. You know why? Because women love to eat. Some women like to eat. Now, of course, they don't have an eating disorder. But women like to eat, just like men like to eat. And it's kind of a cool, romantic thing to do for your woman and your dog. Not that it's romantic, that's weird. But to bake for them, to do something special for them. And you know, your dog deserves something very special, as does your woman. So anyway, so here I'm going to turn this on. Yeah. And here we are baking, blending. And I would now fold in or stir in the wet ingredients. Now here's a secret. As this is going, sometimes you need to add in a little bit more flour to get the consistency you want. Because this is all about consistency. And I add a little extra flour and then a little extra oat bran. And if you come over here a little bit closer and take a look, you'll start to see the consistency that I'm working at. Like right now, I'm going to turn this off for a second, and I want to show you this consistency. See, this consistency now is a little too moist still. So what I want to do here is I want to kind of go back to the mixing, and I'm going to add a little bit more flour, right? This is like where it's an art. There. Now this consistency is a little bit better, because what you'll see here is I can take it out and I can kind of put it together and see how it's kind of like creamy and smooth, and then see that? Yeah. All right, I eat it. I eat the cookie dough. And that is the perfect consistency we have now. So what you're going to want to do now is take off your excess, and don't let anything go to waste here. Hey, Dwayne-a-mater. It's crazy. The one thing you have to watch is, this is really good training, because you know, here I am training my dogs. Jimmy's very calm. Dwayne-a-mater's insane. Hey, off. He's still learning. He's a young pup. Keep your dogs away from hot ovens and hot stoves, so that, you know, you're going to have to use a little bit, some aversives in this training, and correct your dog. So when you take the dough out here, you're going to have a nice sized ball of dough. Now what's going to be important here is that you lightly dust your surface. Take yourself a little flour, use the same flour you've been using. And don't forget to buy flowers for your girlfriend or your wife. They'll love that. Dust it. And now right now I've got Dwayne-a-mater laying down here. And you know, they're learning to be calm. Like dogs learn to be calm by just being around you, right? It's not all about training. It's all about, I was just going to lay this there and I realized Maya's going to jump up and get it. It's just about being with your dogs. And this is something you're doing that's fun for your dogs. Goofy's lying down in his bed over there. Dwayne-a-mater's here. Jimmy's there. Maya's kind of meandering around. Boz is taking a little nap. Boz was a little noisy. But anyway, so take your dough and then put it on your cooking surface. Get yourself a nice, big, thick, strong rolling pin and rolling. Get those, get those what? What are you rolling? Rolling. Get those cookies rolling, wagons rolling, wheels rolling, whatever it is. I say rolling. I'm a big country music fan. So look how beautiful that looks, right? So what we do now is I used ungreased cookie sheets, by the way, right? This is a secret. These are like special cookie sheets. They're made in the USA, just like the cookies. And just like me, by the way. I'm the son of 2 immigrant parents born in the United States of America. And I like to here be really creative with my cookie cutting skills. I like to see how many cookies I can possibly get without wasting any space on the... Hey, Goofy, stay inside. Oh, Maya, stay inside. Don't pee in the house either. I want to go outside. I get the door closed so I can keep some good audio going for you guys here. All right, so once you kind of push them out, don't push too hard, you take your little knife, and it can be any kind of knife. I like this knife, it's a really thin knife, and you kind of pull away all the excess stuff, right, like this. Just yank it away, totally indiscriminately. You're going to just toss it, right, like this. You're not going to throw it away, you're going to just get it to the side. It's kind of warm in here today. It's a hot day to be cooking, but this is what I do for you guys. I go to the nth degree, whatever I can do to make you guys happy. Then take your cookies, scrape them off the cutting board, and carefully and perfectly, methodically, put them on your cookie sheet. Right? And it's really good to do dog training while you're doing baking because, see, your dogs don't think you're paying attention right now. And this is one of the things that I always have done with my dogs. So they're always training, right? At every single given time, my dogs are training. And the good thing about that is most people set these times aside to train their dogs, and then when they're not training them, they kind of like let them get away with murder, like their kids, right? Kids are running around the grocery store knocking cereal off shelves, telling their parents what they're going to eat. My mother would have whacked me so far across that grocery store. But you know, you want your dogs to always be paying attention to you. So now they think I'm distracted, but see, my dogs don't. My dogs don't think I'm distracted because my dogs know the ever vigilant eye that I have is always watching. So my dogs are always under my control because the minute they think they're free or they're going to do something stupid, they're going to get corrected. So I can correct them at any time. I got a rolling pin here that I would never use on my dogs. Janet's going, whoa, bad taste. No, you never punish a dog, you never hit a dog, or you're never cruel to a dog or anything like that. But you correct them. You teach them right from wrong, just like your children, right? Teaching a creature right from wrong gives it the tools to survive. Not like these crazy dogs that people have, they can't correct them. They get these big, strong, dominant dogs and can't correct them. And if you haven't listened, by the way, if you haven't listened to my podcast, subscribe to my podcast, shop my Amazon store. Links are on my website, because all that stuff supports these great videos that you really can't live without, can you? You notice that even I almost screwed up that cookie, but I didn't. I salvaged it. So yeah, so you're always training your dogs. You're always interacting with your dogs. Like right now, Maya's there, and I say, "Oh, what a good girl, Maya!" Right? Goof is a good boy. He's kind of like just laying there, chilled out, doing his own thing over there. And Dad's baking, right? This is like if you're a single dad, like I was a single dad before Janet came back into my life, and I had 2 children, Maya and Goofy, and before that I had Silly. And I was raising them on my own, working hard on my own. And a single parent household is not easy, so I have a lot of respect for you people who do it, men and women. I know not a lot. People say I know a lot. You don't know a lot. You know a couple. I know a couple men who raise their children on their own, So if you do that, kudos to you. I think it's awesome. So I have a lot of respect for people who, work hard, do the right thing by their children, by their parents or whatever. I love my mom, I love my dad. And, you see that people have, my friend Jerome told me something really nice today. He said, when you look at people, have compassion for what they're going through, right? So you might get pissed off, somebody cut you off on the freeway, but you don't know what that person's going through. That person might have just lost their mom or their dad or their child or their dog or something like that, and you're yelling at them. So sometimes you just got to look outside of yourself to know what other people are going through and have compassion on them, and have compassion on dogs. Do something nice, make a donation to a local shelter. Foster a dog. Or better yet, like people always do that and sometimes they put their own dogs at risk. Do something special for your dog. Like think about your dog first. A lot of people rescue dogs and then they end up with these dogs that are biting their dogs, and they email me and say, what do I do? I'll tell you what you do is you get rid of the dog that's hurting your dog because your dog comes first. That's important. Right? You always put your own oxygen mask on first, like they tell you on the airplane. Well, if you're going to rescue a dog and that dog doesn't get along with your dog and you've hired a trainer, it's really crystal clear. You got to get rid of that dog. So anyway, that was amazing, right? I bet I could do it again. Should I go? It's incredible. I'll go one more time. Oh, I had it. I lost it. Oh. I am a man of many talents. So, anyway, let's get these in the oven. Let's set the timer, and then let's come back and see how much our dogs enjoy our cookies. So here we go. We're going to put them in the oven. They go in there. Hey Siri, set the timer for 35 minutes.
Okay, your timer is set for 35 minutes.
Which is amazing. Stay tuned. Cookies are ready. Let's get them out. And here we go, one full cookie sheet of there's something missing here, and I need to get to the bottom of it.